Hey guys, so I thought I'd react to this video. I've tried to find the original, but I can't seem to find it anywhere on YouTube. So I don't know if it's on TikTok. I don't do TikTok. It's full of weirdos on there. But anyway, there's a bunch of like woke activists from all over the world that have decided. Oh, I can't believe this. They've decided to go to Egypt and march to the border of Gaza. I don't know if you've ever seen the wall that separates Egypt from Gaza, but it makes the wall that Trump's building to separate America from Mexico look like a kiddie gate on the staircase. This thing has 4 layers of I think it's like 20-foot wall. There's barbed wire everywhere. I mean, this is a wall to keep people out. you know. So these people are going to a Muslim country with their woke agenda, and they see. I've been to Egypt. And they have really strict laws and stuff. So I'm going to have to react to it from a channel that I'm subscribed to called The Black Conservative Perspective. I love this guy's channel, so head on over and subscribe to him. So let's get into this and see what happened to these lunatics.
He told me if I cared so much, I should just go there and help, so I am. I will be heading to Egypt this week to join the march to Gaza and demand the immediate end to the killing and starvation of the people of Gaza. I will be going as part of the
Yeah, like the Egyptian government's going to listen. I love like how the Jews get blamed for everything. Oh yeah, it's the Jews' fault that the Palestinians attacked the Jews, but so therefore I've never heard of this before in my life. So a country attacks and kills people, then takes hostages, and then the country that they've attacked and killed people from taken their hostages and still have them. That country's then expected to feed these people. It's unbelievable. But what these people don't seem to realize is that Gaza has another border. It's called Egypt. The country's called Egypt. So why hasn't anybody out protesting? Anybody against Egypt? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. It's just all the Jews' fault. The moon falls out the sky. It's the Jews' fault. Someone stubs their toe. It's the Jews. The Jews did it. It's unbelievable. Do you know there was even an attack in this did happen in Egypt, in Sharm el Sheikh, where a shark killed a swimmer in the Red Sea, which is known for great white shark attacks. Do you know what they blamed it on? They said it was a Zionist shark sent by the Jews. Bloody hell. If Martians landed on the Earth and took over, they'd probably blame the Jews as well. They just get the blame for everything. So let me get back to this video. So obviously we're going to get commentary from the Black Conservative, but I'm going to put my commentary in as well because obviously I can't find the original video. So here we go with these lunatics.
Palestinian Youth Movement's delegation, who is joining hundreds of other organizations and thousands of people from 32 countries across the world to march 30 miles on foot from El Arish to Rafah.
I'm here in Ismailia, Egypt, and for the global march to Gaza, from Cairo to Gaza. We made it past one checkpoint, and the second military checkpoint we did not make it past. They started stopping everybody and taking their passports.
Yeah, because they'll be scared. There's a big, massive reason why Egypt doesn't let people in from Gaza, and they don't allow like protesters to like literally walk over there. One, the cyanide's a massive security. There's security issues with there. Two, they have massive problems with terrorist groups, aka the Muslim Brotherhood, and also Palestinian terrorist groups, Islamic Jihad and stuff like that. So how does the Egyptian authorities not know that any of these people are in with these activists? Also, you never really see, and like I says, I've been to Egypt, see anything like this in Egypt. It's a Muslim country. It's a Sharia country. Oh God, I hope the gays for Palestine are there. I really do. But yeah, honestly, I really do, because yeah, they're not coming home for a while. I hope they enjoy their time in an Egyptian prison.
And had a whole bunch of riot police show up, even though we are peaceful.
Hi everyone, I'm on the global march to Gaza in Egypt. We were stopped at a checkpoint. They took our passports. They've detained us. I'm going to show you. They put us in a barrier like animals. Look how
Barrier like animals. It's a couple of like coloured blocks. Oh my God. Oh, these people are infuriating. They put us in a barrier like animals. There's a couple of like coloured blocks there. And you've got no right, this is not your country, to think that you deserve passage through Egypt. It's not your country. They don't have the same laws as other countries, Western countries. This isn't America. This isn't the UK. No, this is Egypt. They have very different laws, and they also have massive security threats. When I was there, terrorists were planting bombs on tourist buses. So, excuse me. So the audacity of this woman to say they've got us rounded up like cattle in these big cages. What are you talking about, you stupid bitch? Oh, sorry about my language, but these people infuriate me. God.
locked us in. They've locked us all in. These are all activists. These are all people.
God, I hope they kick you out.
We are activists from multiple countries.
Who cares?
And they've brought the army. They've brought armed cars.
Why?
They're going to take us back to the airport to deport.
And why would they not? This is their country. They don't know you. You have all decided just to travel to their country, all you thousands of people, to march to Gaza. Unbelievable. And you think you've got right of passage to walk through their country. Of course, their army and police are going to round yous up and boot yous the hell out of there. Yous have got no right to be there. What yous going to do? Like, march to Gaza and do what? What yous going to do? It's like that stupid stunt that little imp, you know, that little golem-looking troll, Thunberg tried. I mean, what are you going to do? You're either going to be attacked by Hamas and taken hostage yourself, or you're going to be, because of your political views or the fact that you're in a very radical Islamic area in Gaza, you're going to be attacked. Like, what the hell do you muppets think you're going to do? Do you think you guys showing up at the border? I mean, as I said, like, you want to see the border between Egypt and Gaza. Do you guys honestly think you are going to storm through that? There's no way you'll be mowed down by machine guns before you can even get 20 foot near that wall. It is heavily guarded. You bunch of absolute psychos. Oh, God. Maybe he's deserve. I don't know. I don't wish death on anybody, but maybe these people they deserve a shock like this, and they need to realize that this isn't the West. This is the Middle East, and the Middle East is the Middle East.
We have done nothing wrong.
Canadian citizens and many, many others have been detained, went missing for hours and hours,
Yeah,
and
good.
were deported from Egypt over the weekend. Some remain in custody, all because they dared to try to peacefully march to the Rafah crossing.
They have no right to. This is the thing. They have absolutely no right to. Egypt's got every right to deport these people. This isn't their country. They have no right to go to Egypt and cause disturbances like this. Who the hell do these people think they are?
To break Israel's siege on Gaza and save lives. I spent my weekend messaging back.
What are they going to do? What, they're going to put that fat one at the beginning as a human shield as they try and storm Gaza? What did they start this up as a petition on Facebook? Let's storm Gaza. They can't stop us all. You know, like they did with the Area 51 thing. These are people. You just have to laugh at them. They're a joke.
Forth with a Canadian physician who is there. I also communicated with Canada's Global Affairs Department, and I'm going to fill you in on what has been happening here. Because sadly, the marchers have had to cancel their plans to head to the Rafah crossing. And despite communicating to Egyptian authorities that they no longer intend to go ahead with the march, and despite their movement's full compliance with Egyptian law, participants in the march are reportedly being arrested in the streets and their hotels simply for being part of this peaceful movement. All because, once again, they dared to march to the Rafah crossing to break Israel's siege on Gaza. Now, as I mentioned over the weekend,
break Israel's siege. There you go. Israel's getting blamed again. The Egyptians are rounding up people and arresting them for causing disturbances and stuff in their country. Because it's their country and they should be allowed to see what happens in it. But of course, it's Israel's fault that Egypt is rounding them up and deporting them out the country. Of course, it's Israel's fault. Israel owns the world. What do we expect? Bloody idiots.
Canadian physician Yipeng Ji kept me posted on what was going on. First, they left for the march, but when they tried to pass from Cairo to Ismailia, people had their passports taken. Yipeng sent me these images, pictures of passports piled on the ground.
Fuck you, Israel! Fuck you, Israel! Fuck you, Egypt!
Oh my God. You cannot do this in Egypt. You cannot do this. These, see, doing this in Egypt, that you get arrested for stuff like this. This is not a Western country. It is not a Western country. You're a guest. You're a bloody guest. You absolute smelly, I don't know, hippie, unwashed, unclean activists. You're a guest in Egypt, and you're shouting "F you" to their country. Like, how dare you? And they're taking your passports because obviously it's a security threat. These amount of people just all of a sudden showing up in Egypt, so they want to make sure who you are. It's not a safe country, Egypt. There are terror attacks. Hence why they built that massive border to keep the bloody Palestinians out. You want people like Hamas or the Houthis or Hezbollah or anything like that in their country? No, they don't. unbelievable. They think like, and I can hear the American accent, and I understand that Americans have like freedom of speech and that's great, and it's great, but it's great in America. You can't do that when you're in another country, though. Just because you're American and you have those rights in America doesn't give you the rights. Those rights don't trump another country's laws. Only real.
Fuck you, Israel!
All right, guys. So we got to follow up on what I believe to be one of the most fascinating stories going on today in a news cycle that includes a lot of fascinating stories. This one is really flying under the radar, and we have to do an update on it, right? The woke activists are finding out in Egypt that Egypt is, in fact, not America, that Egypt is not the West. And last time we covered this story, we talked about how when they initially got there, they were shocked and surprised when they started to get their asses whooped, right? Because they invaded Egypt in order to cross the border into Rafah. Now, Egypt does not want the Palestinians in their country, right? They don't want anybody coming across the border. They are blocking people from going into Gaza for a reason, right? For their own.
Exactly. If those people were allowed to get into Gaza, who's to say like they're not sneaking Palestinians out with them, or sneaking, and those people aren't members of Hamas, and it's a fact. It is a fact, and I'm sorry, like that people are dying in Gaza, but the people in Gaza are some of the most radicalized people on the entire planet. And the Egyptians just do not want them. Look at the history of every country that has taken in Palestinians, and you will understand why Egypt does not want the Palestinians in their country.
Security, right? It is their country. But yet you have these Westerners showing up and trying to tell this country of black and brown people, right, by the way, what to do, right? Again, the imagery is just fascinating. A bunch of white foreigners showing up to a so-called black and brown country, trying to tell them how to control their borders, right? To open up their borders, okay? So, again, it just didn't work out well for them, okay? And then,
like, I guess, like, honestly, why does it always seem to be the white people, like, these white saviors, they're so bloody annoying, that do this kind of thing. It's always these left-wing lunatic white saviors, white Karens, white Kens. Well, I don't know what the male version is of a Karen, but it's always the white saviors turning up to countries, like this gentleman says, of black and brown people trying to save the day. You know, I'm sure these people are not. They can save them in Egypt. They're quite comfortable with their lives there. It's their country. It's their rules. You know, they don't need some white people coming in and trying to tell them. We are basically colonizing our way through your country. And and we are walking to the border that you have with Gaza, and how dare you stop us, because we're the white saviors. A bunch of idiots.
Last video we talked about this. They were getting their asses whooped, right? You had the Arabs, they were just beating the hell out of them, right?
That's another thing. The Arabs beat the utter shit out of them as well. I mean, they're shouting F Egypt and stuff like that. And as I said, this is a Muslim country. This is a country where women will get, floggings and that still happen in countries like Egypt. So if you think you're going to go there and tell the Egyptians like what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, and you just stand back even though it's your country, if you think there's not going to be any consequences for that, you're sorely very mistaken. So they're shouting F Egypt and stuff like that. So the Egyptian police and stuff, yeah, they beat the utter shit out of them with batons and stuff. I think they got off quite lightly because the Egyptians have every right to arrest these people and throw them in prison. Because like what they did is completely unacceptable.
Being whipped. There was videos of the men just beating people, including women as well too. All of this was caught on camera. If you haven't seen it, again, you can watch my last video on this. But again, this is kind of an update because the march is still happening, right? You still have the activists who are there. However, Egypt is not playing around, and they are deporting activists. They're taking their passports. They are arresting them. They're attacking them. These activists are finding out, and you have some people, including Americans, who are concerned about how they're going to get back home. Take a look.
Today, thousands of activists from all over the world, they attempted to march in Gaza in an effort to highlight the need for humanitarian aid, but they never made it. Egyptian police detained several participants once they tried to assemble. This was just outside of Cairo. Arlington native David Fleeg joined the march and says he watched as several people from his group were detained. He actually spoke with our Jericho Tran about what he saw, and this story is all new for you tonight at 11.
Took their passports, detained them. Some people were able to get through and made it there, and they were beaten by Egyptian police before they were rounded up onto buses, and they are currently at a location that we do not know.
The police is having a crackdown on us.
Arlington, Massachusetts native David Fleig found himself in the midst of danger after a failed attempt to reach the Rafah border from Cairo, Egypt during the global march to Gaza.
The American delegation...
Because they're passing military bases, like, they don't, do these idiots not get that? To get to Gaza, they have to like pass through military bases in the Sinai. These are the Egyptian military don't want them there. So yeah, it'd be like the same if you tried to sneak into Area 51, you get shot. So what, are the Egyptian military not allowed to like protect their own country? And it's not even that. If these fools are in Cairo at the moment. This is where I've been. See, when you get into like the more rural areas of Egypt, it gets more and more dangerous. You're more likely to be kidnapped. You're more likely to be, especially if you're a female, you're more likely to be killed. You're more likely to be taken and sold into like slavery. Like these idiots have no idea what the Middle East is like. They're absolute idiots. I would have probably let them go, you know. Yeah, go out there and fend. See how far you get, you bunch of freaks. Done us a favour. We wouldn't have to keep listening to them yammering on.
Of which I was a part. It's unclear exactly what happened, but we had somewhat of a collapse of our leadership and communication structure, and were told that we should all return to Cairo.
Just been violently dragged into the buses here at the first checkpoint.
Thousands from around the world participated in the march to try and encourage the Egyptian government to allow humanitarian aid across the Rafah border into Gaza. Now, those who were detained are taking to social...
Oh, so you go to Egypt and do it. You go to Egypt but they were blaming Israel earlier. So that doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, it's coming from a left-wing network. I should have guessed. Earlier on, they were saying that they couldn't get through and it was Israel's fault. Yeah, everything's Israel's fault. But these are thousands of people that have just showed up in Egypt. What do they expect to happen? What do they expect to happen? This is not a Western... I don't know how many times that I can go on and say it. This is not a Western country where you have absolute freedom of speech. You can't be going around shouting F Egypt, F Egypt. I mean, there's strict Sharia laws there, you know. It's other. So the people that are probably cannot be found, These are people that have probably been arrested and they're now sitting in an Egyptian prison. Boo-hoo-hoo for them. So I suppose the embassies that have to get involved, they'll be thinking, for Christ's sake, why did these lunatics even try this?
Media to call for help.
They started to push people and drag them violently outside. They have beaten people. I have seen one woman that was beaten in her face in front of me.
I think the very idea of us doing anything to highlight what was being done to the Palestinian people was not acceptable to them.
Flag was able to make it back safely to Cairo, but remains uncertain about his plans moving forward.
Egypt is just arresting people.
Yeah.
Anybody with a backpack, they're getting detained.
No,
no.
Egypt just doesn't arrest people for no reason. Like I said, I've been to Egypt. I've been to Egypt, and they don't just. Many times, they don't just arrest people with a backpack for no reason. There is hundreds of thousands of tourists go to Egypt every year to see the pyramids, the sphinxes, the Saqqara pyramids. There's tons of stuff in Egypt to see. But no, they don't just go around just arresting people. You guys are all together in a large group. It looks ominous. They don't know who the hell you are. They're shouting free, bloody, all your stupid chants, intifada, So I've heard the chants. As soon as you hear these words like intifada, and things like that, the Egyptian military and police will automatically assume, and I can guarantee you this, they'll automatically assume that their people are about to be attacked. That's why yous have been dealt with so harshly, and that's why you guys, not the tourists, you guys are being arrested. And why you're still in Egypt, I don't know. You're not there for a holiday, anything like that. Egypt is not a place where people would tend to go to do activism. So I would advise you just to leave and go back to your little protests, that you do in your own country, where you're free to shout death to Jews and all this other bullshit that you shout. Off you go.
Clear, what that means.
This as Flag's wife Lauren and their 2 children anxiously wait for his return.
He's not been detained, but I do worry about what's going to happen at the airport, and I'm concerned about the well-being of everybody else who is on this very important and peaceful action.
Jericho Tran, NBC 10 Boston.
Peaceful? You were shouting F Egypt, and acting aggressive. Peaceful? And then I'm sure the Egyptians actually do have televisions, so they're able to see how aggressive the protests are in places like Europe, and how riots and etc. can erupt. They don't want that in their country. They don't want that. These people know a vast majority of you activists aren't peaceful. That at the drop of a hat that you would start literally looting or burning shit down. Yeah, they want that there. God almighty.
It won't be long until we're taken now. Among them TD Paul Murphy, who live streamed some marchers being detained by Egyptian authorities.
Unfortunately, when
go on the Egyptian army, arrest these weirdos.
And everyone else who was here has had the same situation. There's a bus here which they tried to get people to go on. People refused to go on it because they think, I think correctly, that it.
I wonder why then the Egyptian army are getting aggressive, that they're trying to get these activists on buses, and the activists are fighting back and refusing to go on. I wonder why the Egyptian army would have got a bit agitated with that and maybe got a bit aggressive. Yeah, it's what a question I cannot seem to answer.
Be used to deport them.
Back home in Dublin, Paul Murphy's wife has been closely following the events in Egypt.
I have not spoken to him. His phone was seized. The last.
And why I feel sorry for the people in Ireland, I truly do, and I don't think a vast majority of them think this way. There is a massive majority, especially the Irish government, who are super anti-Semitic. But so I'm not shocked to. This is probably a supporter of the Irish government that are in power at the moment. You know, yeah, they'll go over there, because yeah.
He saw was his live video where it's clear that he was forcibly and looks like violently
And
seized.
also, what a joke for them to moan about them getting forced onto like buses and stuff, when in Ireland you can't even protest against illegal immigrants being moved into your areas. You know, maybe stay in your own country, even, and I'm talking to Brits as well. Stay in your own country, and we should try and fix that, because we can't do this stuff in our country. So why should you expect it to be allowed to be done in someone else's? You bunch of hypocrites.
People are among the estimated 4,000 global citizens who signed up to take part in what organisers called a non-political and citizen-led march.
Yeah, so a lot of people who showed up are basically now stranded, okay, because they've had their passports taken away from them. So they don't know how they're going to get home, right? There are questions about how they're going to leave Egypt after invading the country, to force them to open up their borders so that they can go into.
I'm going to give you advice. If any of you Looney Tunes are watching this video, here's some advice. Go to an embassy. There's embassies in Cairo. There's American embassies. There's British embassies. You can go to an embassy if you've not got your passport, and they can issue you with a temporary passport in order for you to get a flight home. You're not stranded. They might have taken your passports because they'll do that because they don't know if you've committed a crime, so they don't want you to flee the country. But you can go to an embassy. If you don't have your pass, I shouldn't even be giving these assholes advice. In fact, forget that. Forget what I said. Don't bother going to the embassy. Just stay there. Stay in Egypt. You won't be missed. You will not be missed. But then, yeah, I quite like the Egyptians, so I don't want to foist our hippy dippy Looney Tunes on them. So yeah, maybe go to the embassy. I don't know.
Another country, which potentially lets people into Egypt that Egypt doesn't want in their country. And yeah, they are shocked, they're stunned at the treatment that they're getting. And I'm going to play some more clips because, again, these people are really, really, really upset. They seem genuinely surprised that they're being treated the way they're being treated in Egypt, because they don't get treated like that in the West. And I want you guys to pay attention to a clip. I'm going to play it at the end. But it's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video, because, again, I think it's just a very, very, very fascinating clip of one of the protesters asking the Egyptian guards and Egyptian soldiers, we can do this in America. Why can't we do it here? If it's okay in America, why is it not okay in Egypt? Take a look.
Palestine free! 1, 2, 3! Palestine free! 1, 2, 3! Palestine free! 1, 2, 3!
Have enjoy ourselves, so we don't know what's going on.
What do you guys say about this?
Well, I've come to sightsee. It's my first time here, and I want to see Egypt, and I'm not being allowed to do that, which it's very oppressive.
So what they're doing?
Because they've wasted it for you, love. It's not normally like that. You've gone there to sightsee, and these fools have ruined it. And I cannot believe that these people have went up to the Egyptian and said, we can do this in America, why can't we do this here? Maybe because it's not your country, and maybe because they have different laws, and you entitled Karen. I don't know. Like, it's just not your country. You just can't, like, go into someone else's country and expect, like, just because, like, you have laws in your country, that the laws of your country follow you into the next. No, if I went to, I'm a Scot, okay? If I went to America, right, and I killed someone, for example, premeditatedly killed someone in somewhere like Texas, I can't then say no. You can't, and they give me the death penalty. I can't then turn around and say no. You can't do that. That's against British law. We don't have the death penalty in Britain. How dare you? You cannot do that to me. I'm a British citizen. Of course they can. You committed a crime in their country. So therefore, you have to abide by the laws in their country. Your laws are null and void as soon as you step foot out of your country. Yeah, you've got some rights as an American citizen regarding certain situations, but not in this respect. Not regarding breaking laws and stuff. And this poor woman here, she's like, oh, we came here, she's a Brit, to sightsee and stuff, you know. And of course it's going to feel impressive. These assholes have ruined your holiday for you. And the military have come out and they've had to shut tons of things down because they've caused a security issue.
Essentially, they're in the sun, sitting here without water, without any assistance, without toilets, without food.
You should have thought about that before you went.
To distribute the passports in a very disgusting manner, in a manner which is equal to the Zionists.
What's that I see behind me there? Looks like an ambulance. It looks like an ambulance. Oh my god. How dare the Egyptian authorities have an ambulance there in case anybody's hurt. I mean, the way this guy speaks, oh, we're getting no food, no water, or something. He's acting as though, like, he's like, just fell out of Auschwitz or something. Listen, mate, you should have brought all that stuff with you. You're planning on walking 30 miles and you brought a tiny little bottle of water. Do you seriously think on the in the rural parts of Egypt that they don't have like plumbing and stuff like that? They live in homes, still made, like, they use like this special mud and dung and stuff to like build these homes. Do you honestly think, like, there's stores there's a Walmart out in the desert where you can just restock your snacks and water? Yeah, idiot. Maybe try bringing more water, you know, marching 30 miles with like I don't know, a 500 ml bottle of water and then moaning about it.
Distributing the food in the cages for the Palestinians. It is disgusting what they're doing. It is shameful. I know that Egyptians are not like that. I know this country is supporting the Palestinians. I know this country is...
If Egypt is supporting the Palestinians, why have they built that massive wall to keep them out? If Egypt is supporting the Palestinians, why are they not putting aid into the country from Egypt? If Egypt is supporting the Palestinians, why aren't they taking any Palestinian refugees? You're talking utter BS, mate. Egypt does not want the Palestinians because they are neighbours to the Palestinians and they know very well what the Palestinians are like. They're not stupid people.
People of this country is with Palestine, and we appreciate the Egyptian people. However, what we see today on the borders is absolutely shameful.
Yeah, we appreciate the Egyptian people, but screw yous for not letting us pass into Gaza.
Everybody listen!
Please listen to me.
Yes, brother, speak.
Can you declare yourself?
Hold on. He doesn't need to.
We are the police, and we are announcing through our police. Okay.
Respect the country.
Please respect our country and listen to us.
Total respect.
We are
just asking. We just asking with politeness. With politeness. I can go.
My God, shut up! He's just told you that he's wanting to address the crowd. This is their country, and he's saying, let him speak, this is our country. But these absolute lunatic activists, I know I can smell them through the screen, honestly. Like, these, have you ever been to, like, near the one of their marquees? I swear to God, yeah. Some of these people seriously like need dipped in debt or something. But let the guy speak. It's their country.
Listen. I can't, with total respect, I can't speak.
You're not helping yourself.
This is against this country law. You can't stay there.
We can't stay here.
I am warning you that I own 2 sticks.
You suppose all respect our country and our law. Okay? So your message has been already received, and you can go back and turn back to Cairo. We're supposed to arrange all of that.
We could do it in America.
Okay.
Why can't we do it here?
What are you doing here? It's against our law. Okay?
Wow. Wow.
We can do it in America. Why can't we do it here? I mean, like, they're even being like semi-decent. They're putting transport on to take them back to Cairo and stuff. We can do it in America. These people, like, where did they? I think they left their brain cells in the country, even if they even seem to have any. Bloody hell! You can tell these people don't travel very often. Honestly, they obviously do not travel very often. Whereas if they think that they can do the same things that they do in America or their country of origin in Egypt, as if Egypt doesn't have its own laws, you know, how insulting to say that to an Egyptian official and an Egyptian policeman, as if their country's worthless, you know. Oh, we can do it in America, why can't we do it here? Like, it just sounds so sanctimonious, like, oh, our country's so much better than yours because you can't do this in your country, we can do it now. They're just, see these activists, oh, they're just the most annoying Karens in the world.
We can do it in America. Why can't we do it here?
I'm laughing too, mate.
In America, why can't we do it here? Maybe because Egypt is not America. Egypt is their own sovereign country with their own laws, with their own way of life, and that they do not have to allow a Westerner to come up in their country and to tell them how or if to enforce their laws. The entitlement from these people is off the charts. I can't believe it, right? I cannot believe these people are genuinely shocked that Egypt is not America, that as an American, you do not have the same rights in Egypt that you have in America, which, in my opinion...
That's because, and this is what I truly believe, I believe these people genuinely do not travel. I genuinely do. Because, like, I've read statistics that some people, like, most, because America's so big, and I can understand that, that most Americans haven't ever even left America. They've never left it. And in a way, you can understand that because, again, it's so big. There's so many different states, so many different things to see and do. Visiting each state, I guess, is like visiting a tiny mini country, I guess. But all the laws that basically of freedom of speech in their constitution is the same. But you go outside of America, and yeah, I hate to tell you people this, and I speak to people from other countries as well. Yeah, that have never travelled to another country, especially Middle Eastern countries. Um, these countries have their own laws. They're you know, they're not just a little village in the patchy nowhere in the middle of the Sahara Desert, you know, where there's people just I mean there is people like there is camels and that walking about and stuff like that, but yeah, they have cars, you know, they have iPhones, you know, it's a modern city. It's a very beautiful city, Cairo. Um the audacity of these people. I'm with you, Black Conservative. The absolute audacity of these people.
Right? I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I think we should take some notes from Egypt, right? In terms of how to deal with these activists, to be 100% honest with you, okay? Because
yes,
these people clearly, based off the treatment they have received in the West, they are not living in the real world, right? They do not understand that the rest of the world is not like the West. It's not like America. It's not like France. It's not like the UK. It's not like Spain. It's not like Germany. You can't just run up into other people's countries and demand that they open their borders wide open. You can't do that. You can't do that. But again, the fact that they felt like they can do that, right? It really says a lot about how, you know, we probably have become too soft, right? We probably have become.
I was about to say that it shows that it shows we are too lenient with these protesters, way too lenient when they're this entitled and think they can get away with basically anything, rolling up to different countries and demanding stuff. Yeah, we should take a lesson from Egypt here. We definitely should, because these people are a bunch of hypocrites, absolute hypocrites. And I hope a few of them are sitting in jail, to be honest with you, because like the less Karens we have, the better, you know. I don't wish harm on any of them. Of course I don't. But yeah, don't mess around in a country in the Middle East. These countries are not like Europe. They're not like America. They're not like our countries, and they do not mess around with this kind of stuff.
Way too soft, because these people are simply not living in reality. They're not. Okay? Ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't understand how these people who wants us to respect all of these so-called black and brown countries, right, in the global south, respect their sovereignty, respect their way of life, for whatever reason, they can't respect the Egyptians and their way of life and their laws and
white savior complex, mate. White savior complex.
The fact that they don't want to open up their border. Why can't you respect that? Why can't you just respect that and go back, right? Why can't you understand that they don't want the Palestinians in their country and they don't want people going in there, even though I personally believe that the Egyptians, I think that they should consider letting these activists into Palestine, right? And letting them into Gaza. Let them into Gaza. Just don't let them back out, right? And problem solved.
If you let these activists, trust me, see if you let these activists into Gaza, they ain't ever coming back out. Ever. So maybe he's got a point there. I said that earlier. Maybe we should have just let them in.
Problem solved. Okay, since they want to go and help the Palestinians so much, which by the way, hey, they're putting their money where their mouths are. They're actually going.
And if anything did happen to them, you know, it's not our fault. They chose to go. They wanted to go. They got in. They never came back out. Yeah, that's not our problem. You know? Free will. God gave us it.
Okay? I mean, I'd much rather them be agents of chaos in Gaza than to be agents of chaos in America, right? Or in the West. So again, if they want to go, cool, right? That's fine by me. But if Egypt is not going to let them in, then you got to respect that, right? Maybe you need to find another way, right? Maybe you need... Go ahead and do what Greta did. Go ahead and take that boat, right? Let's see how that works out, right? Maybe that's what they do. Maybe they should get on a boat and try to get in the same way Greta did. My gut feeling is that they're not going to get the same outcome as Greta, right? My gut feeling is that if they decide to try to invade Gaza by boat, they're not going to get...
Can you imagine this? Thousands and thousands of people. I mean, not just one boat, like Greta, like that little golem, Greta, trying to get into like Gaza, through the obviously the Israeli ships and stuff past them. Well, times that by like 4,000 people. I don't think they'd be handed a sandwich and a bottle of water, put it that way. They'd be saying it would look like an invasion, a hostile force. And again, I don't think we'd ever see these people again. But they'd be languishing in an Israeli prison. And it would serve them right, because you just can't go into other people's countries. I mean, they're so like, our countries are so used to like our weak governments allowing people just to stroll across our borders, you know, that they think that other countries are the same. You know, yeah, we can go to Egypt and we'll stroll across their border. Yeah. They're not like us. They actually protect their borders. And they do it for a good reason, because there's a lot of jihadi groups and that over there. But yeah, these idiots that come from the West, you know, they come from countries where our borders were being opened up to anybody and everybody, and you're allowed just to basically stroll over, you know, walking over the border into my new life, and nobody's gonna stop me. And I'm now a British citizen, and I'll never get deported. You know, so that's what these people are thinking, you know. But I can guarantee you, yeah, like Black conservatives said, yeah, maybe we should have let them into Gaza. But I can guarantee you also this. They wouldn't be smiling for very long. They'd be, yeah, you know, we'd get hostage videos of them crying, please come and save me. Please. Oh, dear. Bloody
same
fools.
treatment as Greta, because Greta is actually a somebody, right? And an accident occurring against Greta probably would not be as forgivable as an accident against one of these people who are nobodies, right? So I'm just saying that, you know, if they really about that life, they're going to have to try another way. But I would suggest, if they value life, right, if they value their rights, their freedoms, okay, their lifestyles in the West, which they clearly do, then they should probably go back home, right? You probably should not be trying to invade foreign countries, demanding that they do what you want, right? Again, the entitlement that is needed in order to do that is kind of off the charts, in my opinion. It's not something that I would ever consider doing, right? Going to somebody else's country and trying to demand that they do stuff on my behalf, especially one of these Muslim countries, because, you know, I think it could be a lot worse, right? It could be a whole lot worse had they chose another Muslim country to try to invade, demanding that they do stuff that they don't want to do. Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, right? It could have been a whole lot worse. So I think these people...
Oh, yeah, because, like, Egypt's, like, one of the most lenient Muslim countries. They try this in Syria or anything like that. Yeah, they're just getting mowed down. They'd be lined up against the wall and just taken out. Honestly, that's what would have happened to them. To their, yeah.
Probably go back home while they're ahead, right? Or while they still have a head, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, they should probably leave, right? They should probably stop demanding that Egypt open up their borders, because at this point, it seems to me that, they're running out of tolerance for these individuals and these activists. But hey, we'll see. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
Oh, dear. Oh, sorry.
Are you still
I cannot wait to see what comes of this story. This is unbelievable. Like, these people are unbelievable. Unbelievable. But, look, I guess, like, if they're in Egypt and now we don't have to deal with them protesting in our countries because they're so bloody annoying. But, the absolute audacity of these, like, Karens, like, demanding Egypt open their border because it wouldn't happen in America. You bloody idiots. Idiots. Well, I'm going to keep you up to date on this story, and I'll let you know if anything else comes of it. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Bye.